In the headlines, Akoto Osei disowns damning audio on Bawumia and Ofori-Atta. Businessman Kofi Amoah joins calls for finance minister's sacking. NDC welcomes IMF support but calls for changes in the economic management team. Information Minister blames fake news and disinformation for Ghana's poor showing on World Press Freedom Index. And on the international front, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson resigns. Welcome to Graphic Online's News in Brief. Presidential advisor on the economy, Dr. Akoto Osei, is distancing himself from a damning audio on the performance of Finance Minister Ofori-Atta and the Vice President Dr. Bawumia on their handling of the economy. The viral video has the speaker, apparently in a conversation with another, condemned the government's performance as very poor.
In the recorded voice purported to be that of Dr. Akoto Osei, the Vice President and the Finance Minister are described as worse as each other, having plunged the country into its current economic difficulties. The voice concludes that the ruling New Patriotic Party may as well forget about victory in the 2024 election. However, Dr. Osei, in a statement, disowned the audio and demanded an apology from media houses that published it.
In a related development, businessman Dr. Kofi Amoah has joined calls for the dismissal of Finance Minister Ofori-Atta over Ghana's economic challenges. In a tweet, Dr. Amoah accused the Finance Minister of killing several Ghanaian indigenous banks when he could have saved them using nationalistic considerations. He said capital adequacy ratio, a measure of how much capital a bank has available, reported as a percentage of a bank's risk, weighted credit exposures, is at its lowest in the country because of decisions taken by the finance minister. The opposition National Democratic Congress says, although it welcomes the decision of government to seek economic support from the IMF, President Akufo-Addo should overhaul its economic management team. According to the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Ketia, the current leaders of the economic management team have lost credibility after they previously bastardized the choice as a sign of economic mismanagement.
Ketia also advised government spokesperson to desist from laying the blame for the economic challenges on COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war, as well as comparing the state of the Ghanaian economy to those of Western nations. He said it is time for the country to look for sustainable solutions for Ghana's economy instead of comparing economic indicators such as inflation to those of America, the UK, and Germany.
In Parliament, the Minister of Information, Oppong Nkrumah, has told the House that fake news and disinformation are to blame for the country's recent decline on the World Press Freedom Index.
The Information Minister made comments on the floor of Parliament Thursday in response to the supplementary question by Member of Parliament of North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. The NDC member wanted to know what is being done to address Ghana's decline in the World Press Freedom Index. Ghana dropped 30 places to 60th on the 2022 World Press Freedom Index. The ranking by Reporters Without Borders is Ghana's third lowest since the index was first published in 2002. In 2002, the country was ranked 67th and 66th in 2005.
Mr. Speaker, the RFS report mentions that it is one of the major contributors to our low ranking in terms of the Press Freedom Index. The detail of the report outlines all of that. And we need to be a bit more aggressive in fighting disinformation and the spread of fake news. We have to do that, however, by balancing whatever actions we take with respect for the freedoms that our Constitution upholds.
And on the international front, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson Thursday morning announced his resignation after more than 50 ministers quit the government and lawmakers demanded he must go. Mr. Johnson in 2019 led the Conservatives to their biggest election victory since 1987.
Speaking from the Downing Street, Mr. Johnson thanked the millions of people who voted for him and said the reason why he had fought so long to remain at number 10 was that he thought it was his job, his duty and his obligation to the people. Boris Johnson said it is painful not to see it through and added, "No one in politics is remotely indispensable." After days of battling for his job, Mr. Johnson was deserted by all but a handful of allies after the latest in a series of scandals broke their willingness to support him.
Graphic Online's News in Brief is brought to you by Graphic News Plus.
Download your Graphic News Plus now and choose your preferred package daily, weekly, monthly, and annually, and access free news on various interest areas as well. Graphic News Plus, connecting people through news.
Thank you for watching. For more news, please visit our website graphic.com.gh or follow us on Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube and Twitter at GraphicGH. I'm Ama Amankwa Befi.